Hello, everyone. Dave Lucas from 12 Minute Trading. Well, the Fed meeting has come and gone. They have raised rates 75 basis points, and there was a whipsaw in the market during Powell's testimony, up and down, and ultimately sold off into the end of the day yesterday. And now, today, Thursday, the 22nd of September, we've continued some of that follow on. And this is going along with the charts. The daily chart is signaling and telling us where things are going. So now it's time to take advantage. So welcome to the 12-minute trading market minute for Thursday, September 22nd, 2022. Hey everyone, so here is the daily, the 1-year daily, the 3-year weekly, and the 5-year monthly chart on the SPX, the S&P 500. I always like to look at the S&P 500 as kind of the closest thing to the overall market, right? It really is the most comprehensive basket for the overall market. And so when you're looking at indexes and stuff, the SPX is a good one to look at when you're trying to look and see what the overall market is doing. And you can see we've gotten this move down off the Fed. And, one day, this was Fed day yesterday, we went all the way up to here and then came all the way down and then sold off again today. Although we had another one of those kind of hopes into the end of the day where things were rising until the final 15 minutes or so and then sold back off again. And you can see what's happening. This is the energy, right? So this is the energy line. This is my proprietary fractal energy line that students get to use and get to have when they're members of the service. And what this does is it really shows the energy in a chart to trend. It doesn't tell me which way it's going to go. It just tells me if there's enough energy in a chart to trend. And usually when you're above 50, you're ready to trend. Usually when you get below 35 into the 30 range, you're pretty exhausted. So you can see what's happened, right? We've started to trend. We're trending downward. And so this is heading that way. And so what you can expect if you want to play this over the next couple days, right? Because these usually last 5 to 7 trading days, these moves. So we're through, the last 3 days of it. So we probably got a few more days to go, probably into early next week. And then this is going to be exhausted. So makes sense to probably see this thing come down to 3,700, maybe retest those June lows off this move, get down to there, and then get exhausted. And that would be a point where you would expect a turnaround. So in the interim, if you're opportunistic, and want to take advantage and maybe play with some weekly options, things like selling, call spreads against this, market opens up, sell a call spread in the morning, let it fall through the rest of the day, get out for, even same day type trader over the course of a couple of days. Or, traditional stuff, just buy puts, put spreads, that sort of thing, and take advantage of this continuing to drop. But what I will say is that we're about halfway through this move, and we've got some more room to go. We can go all the way down here if we want, which will take it really down, probably in that 3,600 range if it wants to go there. So we could see that. We could also see it turn around from here. We've seen where, you can see these moves where it'll turn around, right? So, that's one of the things you have to watch for. Now, one thing that I think is very important to note is this weekly chart charging back up. So very interestingly, this had started to release on this right here. So you can see it starting to go down. We started to release downward on this. And these are weeks. This happens over the course of many weeks on the weekly chart. A true weekly swing can go 10 to even 15 weeks. But what you see here is we've come down and here we are. We're right in this range down here, hitting right around these lows. And this is charging itself back up. If this was going to release lower, if we were going to crash from here and release lower, you would see this heading down further. You would see this continuing. So that tells me that maybe we've got to burn this energy out on the daily chart, get down back to maybe these June lows, and then this thing's going to be charged back up. And then do we turn around and do we have that rally into the fourth quarter? And that's kind of what we're looking at. So short term, over the next week or so, we're headed downward. So you can take advantage of it that way. And then after that happens, we'll probably maybe see us find some support, level off where the daily energy runs out, and then it'll be time maybe for that weekly chart to take over. We may even go through some chop for a few days to get the daily chart charged back up again so that it can go with the weekly chart. And then the other thing to note is we've got this monthly chart here, which when we switch over to October, we'll start to maybe show which its hand and which way it's going to go. Maybe it starts to do one of these that we saw back here, and if we're continuing lower, maybe that's in a signal we're going lower. Or if the weekly does find support and the weekly does start a rally into the fourth quarter, maybe we see this thing start to go with it. And this is the chart that matters the most over the long term, because when this goes, it'll go over 12 to 15 months, right? So this chart, I don't ever call a direction until it gets below 50. So we've got some, a month or two yet before we really see which way this thing would release to. And obviously through these market minutes, I'll update that stuff and everything. But you're right now, again, short term, next 5 days into next week, heading down. Then look for us to maybe bottom, maybe in those June lows, right around in this range down here, the low 3600s. And then look for maybe a bounce from there, or even maybe a trend to kick in off of this weekly chart and start to head higher into the fourth quarter. And then the monthly chart ultimately will kick in at some point, and that'll take us to where we go next for the next long-term trend. So that's really it. Great opportunity to take advantage of some things in the short term. Get ready for what could happen as we get into October and the fourth quarter. Remember, we don't have a Fed meeting until November now, so the market's kind of on its own, and it's going to deal with just the data. And bad news is good news, right? Bad jobs numbers is a good news for the market, right? Bad retail numbers, bad housing numbers, all that stuff. The only good news that will help the market go higher right now is if inflation goes down. So that's what we're watching. That's the big things that'll be making the markets move as we get into October. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next Market Minute.